Hey guys, welcome back to the next episode of Genra Makers. This might be a bit of a working title, but right now I like it. This is, for those of you who don't know or are getting used to it, a series I made to dig into and to try to find games that I feel defined or changed genres as we know it. And today is really no exception. And honestly, it's not one I initially thought to give any credit to myself, and frankly, I should have. I say that because today we're going to talk about RPGs. Not one of the biggest hitters, well, possibly it is depending on your point of view. Because today I want to talk about a little known game that became a smash hit that brought a ton of light to the genre as a whole, and that's Pokemon. Now, I think most of us have tried an RPG, be it something more akin to action-oriented, like The Legend of Zelda, or something more advanced like Final Fantasy II on the SNES. And yes, I know it was actually the fourth in the series. Most of these games had deep turn-based systems which required the player to have a balance of item usage, healing, defensive tactics, along with offense to succeed. This is the very same system that added so much depth that also became a bit of a turnoff to many people for the self-same reason. However, Satoshi Tajiri had an idea for something based off a pastime he had as a kid. You see, when Satoshi was growing up in Makita, I think I pronounced that right, I am really not sure, he enjoyed catching insects and other small creatures in the various ponds and fields around his hometown. Once Japan's major economic boom hit, many of the cities, including Makita, expanded. This killed off a lot of the places for wildlife and exploration, but the memory of this stuck with him as he got older and got introduced to video games. And part of that, either consciously or subconsciously, really resonated with him because he and his friends, who dubbed themselves Game Freaks after a magazine Satoshi ran earlier in his life, came up with an idea, a big idea, that would make generations of people look at RPGs in a new way. And that's Pokemon. Now, this game was released specifically with the Game Boy in mind originally, and fully intended to use its link cable from the very beginning. The idea was simple. Play into the same feeling that Satoshi had had when he was younger, exploring the world around him, catching insects and other creatures. They also wanted to play into that feeling of getting a rare item or drop that would happen in other RPGs around the time. The game, as I'm sure most of all of you know, involves a young boy or girl getting their first Pokemon creature that you find and then going out and exploring the world around them, catching and training new monsters called Pokemon, with the idea to fill out your entire index, listing all the creatures you discovered in the world. You can already kind of see from my earlier analogy the correlation to collecting insects and catalog them just from that description. However, it goes further, with certain types being more rare to run into than others, along with items strewn around the world in much the same way. Behind all of it is a simple combat system with just enough depth to keep people engaged with certain moves and types of Pokemon, countering others, and plenty of gyms to compete in to earn those awesome looking badges. I mean, who doesn't want a dope pen or medal for doing well? The formula worked, which is, well, obvious to anyone. The cast of colorful characters and interesting monsters that you could capture and tame, along with the thought behind the collecting and trading via the Game Boy link cable, made it perfect for the time and for ages to come. Everyone could sit around trading the ones I didn't have or the ones that didn't show up in their version of the game, which was a brilliant move on our part, since it encouraged players to talk to each other and exchange not only Pokemon, but tips, and even challenge each other to duels. In short, they made what was commonly a single-player experience a group experience, which is a trend that would continue through the years with one of the best examples, which is Pokemon Go, which became a bit of a phenomenon in mobile gaming. Everyone got in on the action on this game, looking around the rural world, congregating in parks or taking walks, hoping to find rare Pokemon or doing raids with other people to take down legendary Pokemon. In a way, they did for mobile gaming what they did for RPGs and handheld gaming the first time, making it a more social and less isolating activity than it had been, encouraging people to mingle, go outside, touch some grass, those monsters. In all seriousness though, handheld gaming, mobile gaming, and RPGs themselves owe a shocking amount to a small title that was born primarily out of love of exploring nature. However, what do you guys think of this one? I'm sure most of you have played one of these titles before, but which one of them is your favorite? Was it one of your first RPGs? If not, which one of these caught your eye first? Let me know in the comments, and while you're there, if you could, leave this video a like. And if you haven't, consider following. That helps me out a ton. For now though, have a great rest of your day, and until we meet again, happy gaming!